At this time, I would like to call this meeting of the World Conference of Black Mayors, the Historical Black Towns and Settlements, and the Alabama Conference of Black Mayors to order. Now may we have the prayer.
Okay, we're going to ask Mayor Eddie Cole, who also serves as the chaplain for the Orlando Magic basketball team. So, Mr. Mayor, Reverend, please take us to the throne.
Father, first of all, we just thank you for all your blessings. We ask you, Lord, to forgive us for all of our iniquities. We thank you for this fellowship of brothers and sisters throughout the United States on one cause, and that's to have a better world, better neighborhoods for your people, Father. And we understand Ephesians 6 and 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual weakness in high places. We ask that you expose and reveal how some of these things are coming, but we know at the end of the day that you are God and you will cover us all. So allow us to use this knowledge and the different information that we are sharing with each other to be able to reckon with whatever's going on within our lives and within our communities, that you might be glorified. Bless this meeting and let it be fruitful for every ear, and everybody who has something to say, let it be something that we can carry on in our communities. We ask this in your Son, Jesus' name, and we thank you in advance. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so very much. Again, you want to announce about the Black Caucus conference call?
Yes, we received something last night, and it's out of our Congresswoman Val Deming's office, and they said we want to make sure you're aware that the Black Caucus will host a teletown hall, the National Black Response to COVID-19. For elected officials tomorrow, which is today, at 12 o'clock p.m. I have the link, so when I get on my other computer, I will send the link to everybody who's on this call, and you'll be able to link in. I think you have to register to be a part of it, and with that in mind, that hopefully will give you an idea of what's going on. A couple things on here would be the National Black Faith Leaders. It will be small businesses, speaking on small businesses, African American Mayors Association, and that'll be on April 20th with the Honorable Host Rep Brenda Lawrence. There's a different variety of things on here that y'all will have an opportunity to be a part of.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I wanted Mayor Cole to do that because we are grateful to Mayor Cole, the mayor of Edenville, and Mayor Demings, the mayor of Orange County, Florida, the first African-American mayor of Orange County, where Orlando is. And, of course, the council persons at the city of Orlando. They host our annual collaboration conference here in the Orlando area. And that's where we pull together the 13 national black organizations headed by African-American presidents of these organizations who all came together at that collaboration conference. And we're going to stay together because our next major effort was to convene the National Black Political Convention. But due to the virus, we have rescheduled that National Black Convention to June or later on in the year, whenever it is, whenever we're able to do it because of the virus. So thank you, Mayor Cole, and thank the Congresswoman as well, because she has been a part of our collaboration effort across the years. Now, we want, Mayor Jones, did you get on yet? Mayor Ed Jones?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mayor Jones. Please go ahead and greet everyone. Our president is on the phone of the World Conference.
Good morning. I really appreciate, on behalf of the World Conference of Mayors and Historic Black Towns and Settlements, thank you so much for the collaboration during these times. It's really important that we come together in order to much, and we appreciate everything that you have done. I had a chance to look at all the letters that were sent out, and they were marvelously done, and I'm greatly appreciative and honored to be a part of all the organizations that are with us this morning. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so very much. I've asked Senator Hank Sanders to get on. He and I had the opportunity to serve together in the Alabama legislature, and we're just proud of him. And now his daughter is carrying on as a senator from his area. But I wanted Senator Sanders to set the stage for what we are going through in Alabama in terms of not being able to get testing, in terms of not being able to get any support from our governor in terms of expanding Medicaid. What's happening in Alabama is also happening in many of the other states as well. But we also know that Alabama has always taken a leadership role in civil rights, and what happens in Alabama many times happens, we inspire it to happen across the country. So, Senator, if you could set the stage before Mayor Moore introduces our special guest this morning in terms of what we are facing in Alabama, because I'm sure other African-American communities are facing the same thing. Senator, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. It's just
good morning.
To be joined together with people who are fighting to protect our communities and fighting to lift our communities. We just went through a situation, and we debated whether or not we should hold demonstrations during the coronavirus pandemic. We debated whether or not we should hold press conferences. And after that debate, we decided we definitely needed to go ahead with a press conference with some elements of demonstration, because the situation was so dire and would become worse if we didn't speak out. And many of us were over 70. So if we were over 70, and many of us had underlying diseases, but the situation is the life and death for so many people. So we went ahead and held a conference call, and then we also sang a song or two as well as prayed. So it's a press conference that ended up also being sort of a subliminal demonstration. But then we decided, well, maybe we shouldn't do that again. And then when those figures came out to show that coronavirus was disproportionately attacking black people and causing the death of sometimes 2 and 3 times as many, we decided we better go back and attack it again. And there are all kinds of underlying problems, but one of them certainly has been the fact that Medicaid expansion, and we have been fighting for years trying to get Medicaid expansion. And of course, we've been fighting unsuccessfully, but we haven't given up. We keep thinking that success is going to be a possibility. We've been fighting about people in jail. We've been fighting about the lack of testing. I live in Selma, and that's part of the Black Belt, and they probably touched 2 or 3 counties in the Black Belt. In fact, if you live in Selma, they don't let you go to Montgomery to take a test, which is 50 miles away. They send you to Wetumpka, which is 65 miles away, or Tuscaloosa, which is 75 miles away, and neither of them have 4-lane highway all the way. So I just share that because our people most at risk. And I end with this. We were demanding that they put the resources where people are most at risk. That means black people. That means people on the front line. That means people incarcerated. Wherever the most risk was we demanded that they put there. And I just want to say how much I appreciate the leadership of Brother Johnny Ford. He has been tremendous in this struggle here in Alabama and obviously across this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for all that you've done for Alabama and continue to do. Let me say what is happening in Alabama is also happening across the nation. That's why I wanted you to hear what we are faced with in Alabama. I started my career with the United States Department of Justice with the federal government, and I know what the federal government can do because we had the responsibility of desegregating Alabama in 1971. So that is why we're sending out a clarion call to our federal representatives, our U.S. Senator, our Congress lady, and members of Congress to use their influence to call upon the President and the Governor to activate the National Guard and the State Guard. Why? Because the National Guard, they have the resources. They have the manpower, they have the doctors, they have the nurses, they have the transportation, they have the facilities, they have everything. And that's what Governor Cuomo has done in New York. He's made noise about it. He has called and demanded that the federal government send some help to New York, and he's gotten it. You've seen ships go to California and to New York. Well, we've got to send the same message. It's just as bad because we have black people in particular, and probably white people as well, but people are walking around probably don't know they have the virus because there's no testing. But the federal government, they have National Guard armory buildings in each of our towns, and they can mobilize those guard units, and they can come in here and help. That's what they did with Hurricane Katrina down in New Orleans. They got the Guard, they got FEMA involved, the federal government. So that is why this morning we've asked Mayor Moore, and she's going to introduce our special guest. Senator Doug Jones wanted to be on again this morning, but he could not be with us. So Mayor Moore, if you would introduce Ms. Jackson, we would appreciate it very much. And we want to thank you and the Alabama Conference of Black Mayors for what you've done in this effort. Mayor Moore?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much, Mayor Ford, and a special thanks to Mayor Jones and also to Mayor Ward for your service and for all that you're doing and working so hard for the state of Alabama. Just know that we deeply appreciate everything. And to not prolong the time, I would like to introduce the regional director at Senator Doug Jones' office, Sandra Jones, and they've been working with us nonstop. And Sandra, I know you have to move on swiftly. So at this time, just on behalf of all of us, just know that we deeply appreciate you and Senator Doug Jones and all of the hard work that he's doing, which has been nonstop from his office. And he has supported the Alabama Conference, the World Conference, and Historical Black Towns and Settlements ever since the battle started. So just know that we appreciate and express to him our deepest appreciation. Sandra.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak with you on behalf of the Senate office. We appreciate what you all are doing, and please know that the senator is extremely supportive, and we're here to find out the different ways that we can assist you all. I want to start out. I know some of the information that was sent had a few questions in it, things that you all are looking at, and I wanted to address some of those as a starting point, if I may, and then, if you all have questions. But starting out with the sites in the black community, whenever the senator is on with, when he has the opportunity to talk with the state health director and others who are in those leadership positions, that is always brought up because we know that we're seeing from a statistical standpoint that African Americans are more susceptible to contracting this virus, and so he's been very vocal about having assistance, particularly in the Black Belt area. As far as the personal protection equipment, I know that there are shortages across the nation, and he, again, in those phone calls that come up, he's constantly asking about the supply chain, how that all works, and how we can do a better job of getting those supplies to the areas where they are most needed. So that's a constant thing on the forefront. He's bringing that up so that the people won't forget that, here in Alabama and in the areas that are underserved, where the most needs are. And the question about the national health care, the senator actually has a press conference later on today around 10:30, I believe, where he's going to address some of those issues as far as health care and affordable health care for the people in the state of Alabama. So just kind of stay tuned for that. Another question you all mentioned was the Medicaid expansion. You probably know that
everyone mute. Go ahead, Ms.
You all know that Senator Jones has been very vocal in his support for Medicaid expansion, and he's been pushing for Medicaid expansion. He's introduced legislation to incentivize states to go ahead and expand Medicaid, so that they would get the 100% reimbursement that they would have gotten had they expanded in the beginning. Even though that legislation is still pending, he hasn't let go of it. He's still pushing that. Because with the expansion of Medicaid, we will have over 300,000 more Alabamians would gain access to health care. So just a little bit about what's moving forward. You guys have probably heard that the CARES Act appropriated funds that were initially appropriated for the CARES Act to assist small businesses and communities, that money has run out. And so they're now in negotiations to add another $250 billion to the package. And what Senator Jones and other Democrats are pushing for is for that money to go directly to small businesses, because a lot of times you'll have small businesses that are left out because they may not have a certain type of relationship with the bank, particularly with the big bank. And so he wants to make sure that small businesses, who are the backbone of a lot of communities, have access to those funds. He also wants to make sure that hospitals and healthcare workers are taken care of in the new package. And another thing that is a priority for him is to make sure that smaller municipalities have access to the funding. In the last round of funding, you had only those communities with 500,000 or more residents were eligible to apply directly to the Treasury Department for that funding. But in the new package, it will still have to be worked out, because there are a lot of small municipalities, and so a process will still need to be worked out so that we can make sure that those smaller municipalities did have access to that funding. And one thing he wanted to make sure of, I know a lot of municipalities are they're having problems with the budget, because a lot of their budget comes from sales taxes, and with the with what's going on and not a lot of sales tax revenue coming in, those small communities are hurting for funds. And so he wants them to be able to use some of the funds in the next round of appropriations that they're discussing now. He wants them to be able to use that to help shore up those budgets. Hopefully that will be appropriated within the next 2 or 3 weeks. they're in negotiations, and they want it to be done by unanimous consent. So they're working through that. Additionally, you've probably heard talk of maybe a fourth care package coming up. That's going to be, a little bit later. They're looking at maybe starting the discussions sometime in May, maybe mid to the end of May. They're scheduled right now to go back May 4th, but that's going to depend on how, where things stand once we get to that point. So, and one other thing, I know Mayor Ford mentioned the National Guard and
yes, I was about to ask you point blank. That's the bottom line here. We need your office to help us put that request in, and FEMA.
Okay, so I did send an email to our legislative person who works directly with the senator on that's her legislative area, I guess, if you will. And so her response was she feels that the senator would be supportive, provided that they had access to the PPEs that they would need for protection. So that's on the governor. But I hear what you're saying. You're wanting him to help push the governor in that direction.
Well, not only the governor, but the president controls the U.S. National Guard. And both guards, we have not had too much success getting through to the Alabama governor, but we are going to keep trying. But I know, for example, Ms. Jackson, 3 years ago, the National Guard came to our community, set up at at Tuskegee Middle School. They brought in doctors, nurses. They just set up a whole medical operation, and they provided free medical services to a community because they were simply giving their medical people an opportunity to practice, to use their talent. And they did that. Senator Sanders, I think they went to Selma too. But I know what the National Guard can do, and I know what FEMA can do if they come. And that's what's happening in New York and these other areas.
Right. Let me ask you this. I know you said you had sent a letter to the governor. Have you gotten a response?
No response from the governor.
Okay.
Senator Sanders knows, we both and others from Alabama know what we've been trying to do. No response. But we tried to deliver our resolution to the governor, but the State House was locked a few days ago, so we sent it by email. So she has our request. And they've also sent, Chief Frazier sent a letter to Congressman Rogers as well for the 3rd Congressional District. And I understand he's going to be on the phone this coming Monday. So we need our federal leaders to help us in this regard.
Okay.
Mayor Ford?
Feel free. Is this Dr. Harrington?
Yes, it is, Dr. Harrington.
Identify yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
I just want to add to that, as we are asking our federal elected officials to assist us in our demands, be sure you include Medicaid expansion. The governor doesn't seem to understand what Medicaid expansion means, according to the way he displayed it in our conference. So we need federal assistance from the state of Alabama, especially with the federal National Guard and Medicaid expansion. Somebody needs to talk to the governor who can get through. Thank you.
Yes, well, we're all trying to, and that's why I've invited all of you all to be on. And I wish we had time for all of you to introduce yourselves, but like the first week we had about 90 people on and about 70 on the last time. I don't know how many we have on today, but the point is we all need to send emails, send letters, need to call to try to get through to our governor and to the president. And that's why we're asking our U.S. representatives to help us try to get to the president. Ms. Jackson, back to you again. You have the floor.
Well, I wanted to say, and I should have apologized up front, that I've got to jump off because I have a 9:30 conference call. But I can give my cell phone number for people, if they want to reach out to me individually. I don't mind.
Please give it to us. This is being recorded, and we can write it down. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
The recording has started.
Okay, we have it. Does anyone else have a question before she goes? Anyone else want to?
Yes, this is Karen Jones.
Okay, Karen, go ahead quickly before she goes. Karen.
Yes, we're having an issue. Thank you. We're having an issue with mental health patients being arrested, and they don't have bail and being locked, retained and detained. Can Doug Jones make sure that he does something for our mentally ill patients during this time?
Okay, Ms. Jones, if you don't mind calling me, we can, because I'll need to get a little bit more details. So will you call me later on, and we can talk about it if you don't mind?
I will. Yes.
Karen, you got the number?
I did. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. Anyone else before she goes?
Yes, my name is Camille Bennett, Miss Jackson, and we have a major problem with the daycare. Infants and children and toddlers. Alabama has done nothing to protect these children in daycare centers, particularly those in marginalized communities. We're not being asked to socially distance. The federal funds are not coming our way the way they need to, and our children are at risk. May I call you to talk about
Yes, ma'am. Please do. Please do. And anyone else, if you have issues that, which I'm sure they're all going to require further discussion, please reach out to our office. And if I can't help you, then I'll find somebody who can.
Okay. Any other questions for her before she goes? Okay. Okay. We are expecting Spencer. Go ahead.
Thank you all. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say thank you all for the opportunity, and I apologize again for having to jump off. But please feel free to reach out to our office for additional conference calls or other things that you all have going on. And if my schedule permits or the senator's schedule permit, I'm sure we won't have any problem participating. So
right. At any time. And let the senator know anytime he wants to call us together and talk to us, we can do it at a time that's more convenient for him, okay?
Okay, I'll definitely do that. Thank you all.
Yeah, because we, for the benefit of everyone, they're working hard to set up a time when Vice President Biden can talk to us. His schedule just has not permitted him to do so, but he does want to and does intend to share with us his vision and his suggestions during this period. Let me also indicate to all of you all, thank you again, Ms. Jackson. Thank you, Mayor Moore.
Thank you.
We have the Honorable Spencer Overton. Are you there yet, Spencer? He will be joining us. He is the President and CEO of the for Political and Economic Studies. We wanted him to come on, and we're pleased that he's going to be coming on because he's right there in Washington at the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies, which was founded back in 1970. Has always been our premier think tank. They serve as the Secretariat for the National Policy Alliance, which is an organization that yours truly and Webster Guillory reorganized in 2005. which has the presidents of the 9 national black public policy organizations serving on the National Policy Alliance. The Congressional Black Caucus, the National Black Caucus of State Legislators, the National Black Caucus of County Officials, the World Conference of Mayors, the African American Mayors Association, Blacks in Government, the National Black School Board Association. All of these organizations, the National Bar Association and the Judicial Council, this is the organization that is the voice of some 16,000 plus black elected officials. And for years, the Joint Center was the secretary for the National Policy Alliance. Now we have Blacks in Government, which serves as our secretary. But Spencer is scheduled to join with us. Spencer, are you there? If he's not there, I'll open the floor to hear from our mayors from around the country, various ones who I know Mayor McCory, you on, Mayor Jones, back to you, Mayor Ward, any of our mayors who want to speak until Spencer comes. Hello? Mayor Jones, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Mayor McCory, any questions? Any of the mayors who wish to speak or have any questions?
Hello, this is Spencer Overton.
Okay, Spencer, you there? Okay, great.
I am, Mayor Ford. Thank you so much for including me. I'm sorry the meeting I was in just ran a little bit long there, so thanks for including me.
The one point, Spencer, we wanted you to emphasize, you're in Washington, and what we really need is somehow to get what is happening in Alabama, in Mississippi, and these rural areas. We need to get the attention of Washington, D.C., and the national press and the national media, because Governor Cuomo has been able to do that. Someone needs to mute. Governor Cuomo has been able to get it help in New York. We need help from the National Guard, the State Guards, and we really do need someone in Washington who can really help us tell our story and let them know how bad the problem is. Okay? With the person on the phone, please mute your phone, please. You're on the conversation. So Spencer, we're delighted to have you. You're speaking before the Alabama Conference of Black Mayors, the World Conference of Mayors, and the Historic Black Towns and Settlements Alliance. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, I just want to thank you for including me, Mayor Ford. I appreciate your leadership. And certainly, Mayor Moore, thank you so much as well. And all of you. You all have supported the Joint Center for such a long time, and we certainly appreciate your support. So I want to just quickly talk a little bit about where we are and talk about some resources, and then just kind of want to hear what's going on with you all. Obviously, we're in this situation in terms of COVID. The Joint Center has really honed in on this issue, and if you go to jointcenter.org, every week we come out with kind of updates about what's happening in Black communities with regard to COVID, in particular with regard to policy issues. Right now, we're focused on the fourth stimulus bill. Congress will be back in session. They're scheduled to be back in session on Monday. And the discussion is what additional economic relief will happen for small businesses, for families. Those are two big issues. Another big issue we're focused on a lot is vote by mail. If you saw what happened in Wisconsin, where Wisconsin folks were forced to choose between either safety and casting a ballot, and that's not a choice that we should make. Folks have to make here, and so we're pushing for $4 billion of funds to go to states with some strings attached. Those strings being that you've got to have vote by mail, but the vote by mail has to be accessible. So you got to have prepaid postage, and you've got to have people, if there's a rejection of the signature, people being able to go So a number of safeguards, as well as we think it's important to have in-person sanitary voting. Not all of our folks are going to use vote by mail, and we don't want to do just universal vote by mail so that there's not an in-person polling place option. So that's what we're focused on there. And then, like I said, obviously the economic relief. So those are the big discussions and debates in Washington, D.C. If you go to our website, last week we had a discussion with the FCC Commissioner, Jeffrey Starks, and we focused on the digital divide and broadband and the lack thereof. We had, many of you all know, Alita Fitzgerald, who's from just the state over in terms of Mississippi. And she presented as well as the commissioner. And we're trying to, basically see if we can get some stimulus money focused on expanding broadband, because there are a lot of people in the country who like broadband, and those are kids who aren't going to school right now because of a lack of being able to learn from home, and people who aren't able to work because of a lack of broadband at home. So we estimate that it'll cost about $80 billion to get the rest of the country connected, and that's something we believe needs to really be a priority. One other resource I'd encourage you to take a look at when you go to the Joint Center website, we had a report. This one's not under the COVID piece. But by the way, when you go there, number one, sign up for our weekly newsletter on COVID-19 and Black communities. So sign up for that so that you're getting the up-to-date information. And then, there are these videos. We just had Stacey Abrams and LaTasha Brown and some other folks you all may know a couple days ago in terms of a video. So, check that other stuff out. But I also mentioned under our future work tab, we've got a report on the future work in the Black rural South, and has some resources in terms of the issues, and we're continuing to work with them on some other reports with some clear solutions for local leaders on the future work in the Black rural South. So I just want to tee all that stuff up, and I'm happy to just hear kind of what's going on, what you all are experiencing, and what's the help that you all feel that you need the most right now.
Okay, the floor is open. Identify yourself, please, and where you're from. Thank you, Spencer. The Joint Center has been on the firing line a long time. As a matter of fact, in 1974, the Joint Center published the first book, The Making of a Black Mayor, which was based upon Jay Cooper and yours truly when we ran for mayor in 1972. It served as a guide for others to run for mayor, and that helped a lot of black mayors get elected. So the Joint Center, you've been serving us for a long time. The floor is open.
Yes, Mayor Ford. Good morning, everyone. This is Judge Cooper, Macon County Probate Court.
Okay, hey, Mr. Probate Judge, go right ahead, sir. A little bit louder.
Yes, my question is, what is the website for the Joint Center? I kind of joined the call late and I missed that.
Thank you so much. I thought the question was going to be hard, Judge. I usually get hard questions from judges, right? So it's jointcenter.org. It's jointcenter.org. Thank you so much for that question. Jointcenter.org.
We got it.
Okay, the floor is open. Who's name?
Ed Jones.
Mr. President, go ahead.
I want to talk about two things that affect African American communities. I know in Grambling, we're 99 and 9/10 African American, and the university sits in the heart of the city. We really need testing here in our area, maybe a pop-up clinic. And in addition to that, half of our city's revenue on sales tax came from the university. The university is closed. It may not reopen until September, October. And not only the city of Grambling, but other African American communities are going to suffer because of the lack of sales tax revenue that will be coming to their city.
Spencer?
Yeah, so shoot me an email at spenceroverton@jointcenter.org. I do know that a number of groups have been pushing for localities to receive additional federal funding here. And so I don't have that information right in front of me. But shoot me an email, and I'll put you in touch with, kind of the right folks here, and we certainly want to be engaged with it because, it's obviously important that you all are represented in this next round of the stimulus. As you know, there were some cutoffs in terms of jurisdictions that had fewer than like 500,000 people in the last stimulus, which was really unacceptable, and it's something that we're working on changing here. And so please reach out to me, and let's get the dialogue going here in terms of the right folks at the table.
And remember, Mayor Jones, I'll give it back to you. Ms. Jackson from Senator Jones' office also mentioned that Senator Jones was pushing for the small towns to be included in the next go-round. Back to you, Mr. President.
Those were my only two concerns right now.
Okay.
Board. Thank you.
Okay. Floor is open. Mayor Ford? Yes.
Good morning. This is Linda. Good morning, Spencer. Good morning, everyone.
Linda, I didn't tell everyone who you are and about the MPA.
Linda Hayes Cox-Taylor with the National Policy Alliance. Spencer, it's so good
to hear your voice.
So I want to make a suggestion because I'm sure that many of us have been on other calls in the last few weeks, certainly all very worthy and needed. I've been on with the NAACP and their weekly calls, as well as the White House has an African American outreach calls, which have been quite interesting. But Spencer, I think it might be a good idea for us to schedule a call, certainly with the MPA organizations and leaders, but others as well, because on some of those other calls, I've heard recommendations, and I think if we all came together and supported Nancy Pelosi and the Congressional Black Caucus and what they're trying to do, and specifically as it relates to small and minority-owned businesses and municipalities. They were very, very specific about this next round, and of course the fight is how much and how the people are going to get it. But this might be a good time for us to do that, to convene that call.
Spencer?
I appreciate that, and I will talk to my team. We are having regular calls, and I think that's a very good point, and let me just connect with my team on that. And Linda, also shoot me an email and let's follow up with that. As you know, we've got limited capacity, but this is obviously incredibly important. And so let's either, let's follow up and either we'll do it and figure out a way to do it, or we'll figure out kind of some partner organization here that can help facilitate that.
Well, I know that the NAACP has been doing their calls every week, and I'm certainly not being critical, but it's not having the energy that it needs. And I know that the reason that may be the case is because they don't have policymakers on the call.
Okay. Well, point. You put that very well.
It's just a thought.
Okay.
Chief here, Mayor. Chief here.
Go ahead, Chief. Go, Chief.
Sir, I would like to suggest that we consider every organization that's on this call henceforth, that each one of us bring a up-and-coming teenager who shows promise and expose them to the brand new beginning of our lives that we're having to establish for survival at this time. We have a habit as older people to meet and leave our young people completely out of what it is that we are doing and what the causes of the problems are. as we see them, what the elements are and what the solutions ought to be. So that is my suggestion, if everybody would please consider.
Thank you, Chief. Chief served as our Chief of Police here in Tuskegee, and now he has a revealer, and thank you for recording all of our sessions and getting it out to the world. Next, the floor is open. Identify yourselves.
This is Faye Williams. I have a question.
This is who?
Faye Williams.
Oh, Dr. Williams. Congrats. The Black Congresswomen, please identify yourself and say whatever you want to, Your Honor.
Well, good morning, everybody. I know that all of you down in Alabama are probably getting along very well mentally, but I'm in a city, and I'm hearing about a lot of domestic violence, a lot of mental problems, what have you, and I wonder if there is any program that people can use now and whether funds are also allocated for psychological problems.
Okay. Dr. Williams is in Washington, D.C. Anyone want to speak to that subject, Spencer? Because I know that's one of the areas in our resolution that we ask the federal government to give attention to. So we have identified that as a problem, Dr. Williams.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Dr. Williams, could you also shoot me an email? There are a couple of people who are working on kind of health issues in terms of this, and so it's Spencer Overton at jointcenter.org, and can certainly connect you, okay?
Yes, both of you are right there in Washington, okay? Okay, who's on? Let us hear from you. Let's hear from you.
Good morning.
Go ahead. Who is it? Is this Alistair from Canada?
Yes, it is, sir. Good morning, Mayor Sims. Good morning, everybody. Alistair Coward, Executive Director, National Policy Airlines Canada. With respect to the mental health requirements and mental health services, I just wanted to mention that here in Canada, we are actually joining up with a lot of the organizations in the United States, and there is a organization called Man to Man out of Oakland, California, that basically is dealing with different programs, single-parent families, dealing with domestic abuse. Stuart Borelliat, his information is available. I believe, Mayor Ford, you do have his information. And
he was at our convention 2 years ago, remember? In Orlando.
That's correct. That is correct. So we here are teaming up with him in Canada to work with his man-to-man program. He has an online program. He has classroom instructions. He has professionals, psychologists, sociologists that he associates with that goes out to deal with our African-American and African-Canadian families. And so I'm recommending that as many of you that would like to find out what services are available within his particular lane and across your country, do give him a call.
Okay, good. And Chief,
Mayor Ford, I just wanted to kind of quickly chime in and point of reference to Spencer Overton. I've got an ancestor, A.D. Shad, who was, I think he was maybe the first black elected official in Canada here. He was in North Buxton, Ontario, Elgin Settlement, and actually his son, I.D. Shad, was the Speaker of the House in Mississippi during Reconstruction here, before redemption happened. So are you in Ontario or elsewhere?
I'm in Toronto, Ontario, sir,
okay.
And I'm very familiar with Buxton and the history of the Underground Railroad. That's very interesting. I would love to get some information about that because we're also working with the Historic Black Towns and Settlements here to discover the historic Black Towns and Settlements here in Canada.
Okay, great. Spencer Overton at jointcenter.org is my email, or Spencer at jointcenter.org will work. It'd be great to stay in touch.
Got it out.
Very much. Yes, I do. Thank you so much.
Not only do we have Canada, but we have Haiti, we have Bermuda, Bahamas, all of those areas as well, South America, Africa, and of course Taiwan, all of those are part of our network for the World Conference. The line is open.
Yeah, this is
Aaron Krantz. Let me introduce you. Dr. Aaron Krantz is our Vice President of the World Conference of Mayors for Health. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, and I also work with two national organizations that advocate with Congress for domestic and global health. And I wanted Spencer and everyone to know that as we speak, we're aggressively lobbying Congress for $100 billion for emergency rental assistance domestically. Housing is health care in a pandemic, and hopefully we'll get this legislation passed and get the money needed, particularly for the African American community and their rental expenses. And concurrently, we're lobbying actively to strengthen SNAP, the food stamp program. Adequate nutrition in a time of a pandemic is also threatened. So we'll be working toward those ends.
Yes, okay.
Well, thank you. And you all know that SNAP was actually increased during the Great Recession, but it wasn't increased this time, and that's something that really needs to happen. Certainly, there were some things done in the last stimulus, but it really does need to be strengthened in this next stimulus. So thank you for the work you're doing.
You're welcome.
Yes. Tanya DeBose, are you on? Can you tell us who do we have on? The floor is open.
This is Dr. Lula Bridges.
Dr. Bridges, go ahead. One of our advisors for the World Conference of Mayors. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. I wanted to note to the mayors a few weeks ago about including not just the mental health, but also those who are suffering from substance abuse. We were finding out that the substance African American disadvantaged people because of anxiety and all the other things that happen.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Okay. You feel that you are in a crowded room and you can't get out, so you have a lot of anxiety. And so people use a lot of substances that they're not supposed to use. People are killing themselves with these substances. So one of the things that we have suggested was that the mayors reach out to the community and just say, listen, we know that this is a time that people who have substance abuse issues are, this is a tougher time for you than it may be for other people. And we hear you, we know you're there, and if you need us, there's an 800 number to call. SAMHSA has all types of resources that are available. There are a lot of coaches out there and counselors in the African American community. I know there's a lot of them in Tuskegee that is totally unutilized, that we could reach out and help these people, keep them on track, as well as the people that are dealing with mental health issues.
Mental health. Okay, well, we've got it. The floor is open. Identify yourself.
Mayor Ford. George Evans here.
Hey, Mr. Mayor.
How you doing?
Everybody wants to say hello to you, Mr. Mayor. Great. Go ahead.
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to hear your voice. Please tell Dwayne and Evelyn and everybody I said hello. So great to hear you.
I will do that. My rationale for calling, I appreciate you being on, Spencer, and certainly I recall vividly when you visited Selma during our anniversaries and 50th anniversary mainly, when you came in and gave all of the black mayors wonderful information about how we get to another point. So thank you again for that. But what I'm calling in also is, Mayor Ford, is to remind you of the fact, I know you mentioned about these conference calls being taped. I know the one we had last week, and they talked about the virus as being information from the Dr. Harris, I think his name was.
Dr. David.
Yes, Lord. I would hope that we all can get a copy of that information, and as well as the ones today as a referral and something as a backup. If you could see about making sure that we as
and the information they're sharing with us.
Mr. Mayor, why don't we deal with that right now? Chief and Tanya, speak. How can we get it?
Okay.
Tanya? Chief, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll be putting mine on Facebook and YouTube, and also getting the link to you from YouTube so that you can send it to anybody that is on our list or otherwise.
Wonderful. Got it, Chief. Tanya? DeBose?
Sure. The same as with us. And also we sent out email links with Dr. Satcher's information on there last week. And if you didn't get it, make sure Diane has your email.
Okay, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, give us your email right now.
Okay, my email address is Evans, EVANS, Evans _G44 at earthlink.net. That's okay. Evans _G as in George 44 at earthlink.net.
Okay, and the staff is on. They've got all of this. Floor is open. Anyone else for? Yes. Yes. Hello. Okay. We want to. Does any of the other mayors, officials on, or citizens who wish to identify yourself or speak?
Yes, Mayor Ford, Frank Jackson of Prairie View A&M University.
Tell them who you are, sir. Title then.
I'm Frank Jackson, Prairie View A&M University. Past mayor of the city of Prairie View, currently working with community outreach and affairs with Prairie View. And my question to Spencer is, I enjoy what y'all are doing. How can we contribute to your efforts? I know y'all need funding to do this. How can we help contribute to these efforts?
Let that man speak. Go ahead. Tell it again.
I certainly appreciate it. Let me also just say, I think his name is John Sowell. I went to school with Stephanie Sowell, who is from Prairie View and a very good friend. And her father had a car dealership in Prairie View, and I've been there and certainly enjoyed my time in Waller County. So reach out to me at spencer@jointcenter.org. Certainly you can donate on our site, which we appreciate at jointcenter.org. But I think more importantly, helping us have information about how to help you, I think is most important. If we're doing our job and we're doing a good job serving you all, I think it's much easier for us to fundraise from foundations and others. So I certainly appreciate support of the Joint Center, and we certainly appreciate that. But just giving us the information that we need to help you all, I think that is really key, and that helps us grow. So appreciate it, and thanks for your service in terms of Texas.
Yeah, Mayor Jackson, he's also our historian for the World Conference of Mayors in the Historic Towns. Are there other national organizations on, presidents who want to identify yourself or speak up, or other leaders representing the various organizations?
And therefore, in just a moment, I'm going to have to leave in just a moment.
Right, we all
go
are.
ahead.
Okay, anyone else?
Yes, Mayor Ford,
yes.
County Probate Court. This is for Spencer. Spencer, when you were talking, you talked about the $80 billion or so needed so that you can reside in our communities that may have access to internet. And looking at your report, the 5G Smart Cities and Communities of Color, that report, of course, there's this discussion in our communities about the health risks and dangers of 5G. So I think somewhere we need to probably give some attention to that. Some other form of technology having worked 40 years in IT. So I would like us to kind of address that in some way. I know your report is political and economic studies, but just a point I want to raise on that.
Okay, certainly, and would love any info and detailed info you have in terms of health effects that are beyond the health effects of 4G, kind of the current generation of technology. And as I understand it, as you look at that, I know not everyone is from a rural area, but I think several people are. I think that, landline or something called white space are options for broadband in rural areas. I think 5G really just does not work as well in terms of rural areas with regard to providing broadband. But certainly, please, I'm always open to any information and would love to learn, Judge. So thank you.
Mayor Jason Ward.
Yes, sir. I have Overton. We just mentioned broadband once again, and over the years we have always, we always talk about broadband in the rural areas, but to be truthful, we have never seen any progress as far as it being brought into our areas. Right now, since this coronavirus issue has came up, we see the importance of broadband in our areas because our kids are not, at this time, they don't have access to the computers and things that they need to get their lessons. So we see that, again, we are left behind because the other two are able to provide this for their children. But, again, we in the rural areas don't have it. I have kids coming out and parking in front of the town hall to get lessons, or they come up here and see right now our system's not set up. However, again, they are, we don't have broadband. So where are we at as far as, getting this broadband into the rural area?
Yeah, so Commissioner Starks, and I know it's kind of a chicken and egg problem here in the sense of, some of this stuff is online. We had about a 75-minute session with him. It's on our website in terms of that. And, if that's not a good fit, you can reach out to me and we can figure out another way to get that information to you. And he's really been a champion of expanding broadband and spending this $80 billion so that everybody. So in other words, we had this conversation, the points that you just made, in the specific context of COVID here, and the fact that some kids are able to go to school and other kids are not able to go to school right now, and the real cost of this lack of connectivity. So he's got it's called a connectivity stimulus is what he's pushing, and we had some people respond to him, and they brought up a lot of issues. I very honestly think that it's frankly probably not going to happen in this fourth stimulus. I think this fourth stimulus is going to focus on small businesses and on getting more, relief for families here. I wish it would happen. That's one of the reasons that we had this event with Commissioner Stark. But I'm hearing that it may not happen, and that at most there may be some voting money in here in addition to small business and relief for families. So, that's kind of where we are. Certainly, you'll want to contact your senators and talk about that because this is a great moment. I mean, we're spending, trillions of dollars. $80 billion is not a lot of money relative to that to get everybody connected and a part of the economy and a part of education. And so this seems to be the time, but, that also requires folks being engaged and speaking out about it now to elected officials here. Feel free to reach out to me, again, if you need me to direct you to anything. And I think, like I said, Commissioner Starks is a real champion on this issue. He's a big believer in it. And, I think he's a great resource. And, we want to continue to be a partner as well.
Well, in closing, we want to thank you. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
This is Mayor Moore. I have just one statement. First and foremost, thank you, Mayor Ford, and Spencer, thank you as well But Spencer, I want to ensure that Tanya and I think Chief has your contact or your email address so that they can also, because your team is doing an awesome job of sending out emails just constantly. So I want to make sure that they have your email address. So if you would give it to our delegation, please.
Sure. If this will work, Spencer at jointcenter.org.
Be quiet.
That will get to me. And Spencer's with a C, so it's SPENCER at jointcenter.org. Another email that will work is my whole name, Spencer Overton at jointcenter.org. But Spencer at jointcenter.org is simpler, and that will work as well.
Okay. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Mayor Ford.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Spencer, we want to ask you to continue to be it. We want you to reach out to you. We haven't been in touch in recent years. We want to ask you to, again, help be our voice in Washington, okay?
That sounds good. When I got the call from Mayor Moore here and the email from you, you said,
Right.
I had a conflict, but I'll postpone that conflict because this is important. So
Okay,
I definitely understand.
Thank you. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you, Spencer.
Thanks so much.
Mr. President Jones, President Ward, we've come to the end of our time, but is there anything else anyone else have? We don't want to keep you too long.
This is Mayor Cole. Just wanting to know, let everybody know, everybody was on Mayor Ford's email. It was like 92 people he sent something to. I just sent you the link for the Congressional Black Caucus host teletown hall meeting at 12 o'clock today. So I just sent it to you. So everybody has that and all upcoming events of any COVID conference meetings.
Wonderful. And that's really what this is all about. We need black folk now, not sitting back being quiet. We need to speak up because our community is being hit by this harder than anyone else. This is the new civil rights movement. We cannot be satisfied until we have equity. Until, we fought for voting rights, died for voting rights. Now we must fight, and if necessary, die for equal health rights. This is a new civil rights movement, and we need all of you all to begin to participate, and let's keep this fight going. If there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Thank you, Spencer. We want to thank Ms. Jackson. We want to thank all of you all for being on. Is there anything else?
No, so moved, Mayor Ford.
Move and we adjourn.
Okay. Thank you all so much. God bless. Have a safe week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Ford.